And that soul is one of the main element of soul is this mind. There are some other elements also which will not go into details today, but I'll talk about the science and art of karma today. And I have got few initial introductory words. First is, this is an interactive session. We don't have too many in the audience here, so if there is something which is not clear to you, please stop me, please interrupt me, and I'll try to clarify it. The second thing I want to say is that whatever I am speaking here, you don't have to agree or disagree with it at this moment. You go and think about it, and if it doesn't make sense, don't agree with it. If it makes a lot of sense, then start contemplating on it and try to apply it to your own life. The third thing which I want to say is that this is a joint presentation. It's not done by me alone. Rosemary, who is sitting there, she has contributed tremendously to this presentation. So thank you, Rosemary. Okay, we'll get started now. Let's see if it works. The agenda for today is that first I'll talk to you about what you call as yoga. And by the way, this yoga is not what you call as yogasanas. The yoga which normal person knows is some type of postures. You sit with your crossed legs or stand on your head and things like that. That is known as yogasana, that is not yoga. That is also very good. Physical exercise, it really keeps you very fit and all that. But we are really focused only on mind. Because if mind is under your command, everything is in your command. You are the master. So basically this particular yoga is an inward journey. Inward journey means that you neglect the outside and start looking within. And this is a journey, what you call as to eternal happiness. Now what is eternal happiness? Eternal happiness really means everlasting happiness. Normally we are in a cycle which you call as samsara, where you have got pleasure and pain, happiness and sorrow. That particular cycle applies to everyone, and there is a law. This is the law of nature, cosmic law you can call it. Like you talk about Newton's law, this is also a cosmic law which says 50% time you will be happy and 50% time you will be in sorrow. Because any time when you are happy there is a reaction and then you go down the other side. So this one is a very different type of happiness. This happiness is everlasting. How can happiness be everlasting? The only way it can be everlasting is that if you are happy without a reason, if you have a reason to be happy, then that will not last. External reason to be happy. So you can be happy without a reason. You are happy in adversity and you are happy in prosperity. So that is the kind of happiness you want to achieve, and there is a journey, there is a path. It's an inward path. How do you go inward? By not looking outside. That's the only way to go inward. And this journey ultimately takes you to that stage of everlasting happiness. And this happiness is not jumping with joy, you know. If you jump with joy, you will also fall down with sorrow. This happiness is a feeling of calmness, serenity, equanimity inside, the peace. You just feel peaceful under all conditions. Somebody dies, you are peaceful. Somebody is born, you are peaceful. You don't get excited when somebody is born, and you don't get depressed when somebody dies. So this is kind of happiness which we are all trying to achieve. And when a person achieves this happiness, it's known as enlightenment. Or you say this is liberated, or realized soul. That's what you call it. So we are really going, I'll give you some glimpse of this journey. That's how I'll start, give you some glimpse of this journey. Then I'll go to what you call as karma yoga. I'll go into details of this one. This is the first stage of journey. This journey has got two stages, and I'll go through those two stages. The first stage is a very lengthy stage, which really tells you this thing that you have to learn how to perform action. Perform action in such a way that it does not bind you. And that is only possible that the thought behind the action has to be unique. It does not have to be ordinary way of thinking. I'll give you a simple example. There are two individuals who give money to a beggar. One individual has a feeling of love while giving money. Another individual has a feeling of disgust. One person will really evolve, is continuing the inward journey, the other one is stuck. That feeling behind the action, same amount of money is given, but one person will grow, the other will not. So this is where we are talking about the first stage of that journey, and I'll go through the details of this first stage. This has got two parts. One we call as science of karma, understanding what karma is. So basically how it works, how it produces results, because any action which is taken will produce a result. Just simple, if you have the simple third law of motion itself from Newton, which says every action has equal and opposite reaction. Only thing is this equal and opposite word is slightly different from what we use in spirituality. So this one means every action will give you some result. At different levels it will give you results. And we'll try to understand that science or that theory of karma. And it's very, very logical. It's based on philosophy. It's not a belief system. It's not a faith system. And the time which I have got today, I think I'll be only able to cover the science of karma. That after understanding the science, we go to the next stage which we call as the art of karma. That is skill, the flexibility, or you can say basically the nimbleness in performing action, or dexterity in performing action. So you perform action in such a way, it does not bind you and you keep on growing internally, keep on continuing this journey toward that ultimate goal of eternal happiness. And if you have crossed this journey, this first stage of the journey, by the way, the second stage is automatic. You are on autopilot, which is known as the stage of knowledge. Because there is one more step which has to be crossed. But that step is not that difficult if you have finished this stage. But if you have not finished this stage, that second stage is impossible. It cannot be done. So this preparation has to be done. Now some people will give examples of what they call as spiritual prodigies, like Jesus, like some other prophet, who did not go through this particular first stage. The reason is they must have gone through this stage, this is the feeling, in the past lives. They were already prepared to start the second stage. But we are not prepared. If we are prepared, we will not be sitting here, by the way. We will be just so happy, we don't have to worry about anything, We will be just really just abiding in ourselves. Abiding means that you are really enjoying your company. It's like, a bird abides in air, you call it. Bird feels free in air. It doesn't know about air, but it just feels free. A fish feels free in water. It doesn't know about water. It doesn't want to know about water. So when you reach this stage, at that time you feel free. Mentally free, you feel limitless. You don't feel that you lack anything in life. Otherwise a person thinks, I lack something. I lack hair. I lack something else. I lack good body. A person really doesn't feel any of those things. And that is the stage in which you are free and you abide in your own self. But if freedom is the other name of love, universal love. We are not talking about attachment. Attachment is also considered as love. That a person says, I love my spouse, or I love my children, that is really attachment. That is what you call as a vectored love. It is in one direction. And whenever you have a vector love in one direction, you will get a reaction of that one. This love is universal love and it is scalar. Scalar means it goes in all the directions, this love. It is love for a sinner and love for the saint. You may not agree with the action which a sinner is performing, but still you love that sinner. That is the condition one has to achieve ultimately. Okay, then I have got, in the end, I think which will not happen in this session because we don't have enough time. I will talk about, give you a snapshot of whole Karma Yoga. First we are going to talk about yoga. After explaining the science, next time we will go to the art. I can do it now also, but it will require probably 3 hours to complete it. So we will, generally by the way, Karma Yoga talk takes about 1 week to complete. That because there are so many questions which person has, about the action, how to perform this action, how will it help me, how will it hurt somebody else, and so on. Because any action which you perform is going to help many, but it will also hurt somebody or the other. Even if you are doing good to one charity, that means you are not doing good to another charity. So somebody else will get hurt. So you want to clean a place, for example, you use a disinfectant, you are going to really hurt the bacteria. You will be hurting somebody or the other. Anything which you do in life, if you want to set up a charitable hospital, you may have to remove some people who are living on that land. You may have to uproot them. So that as they say that every action has a blemish. That means every virtue also has an element of sin in it. But you have to go beyond it and you have to try to see where is the main benefit, where is the maximum benefit. Although there could be some sin, but it's okay, you tolerate that sin. Okay, we'll finally, today what we'll do is just 20 minutes before this lecture is over, I'll conduct a guided meditation. That is, I'll take you into a state where you try to realize that eternal happiness, at least for a short duration. So I want to give you a glimpse of that state. And I'll be the one who will be guiding you, and you will be looking inward within your own self. So that's what we'll do. So please let me know when there are about 20-25 minutes left, which will be about 1:05 or so. We will go to that point. Okay. And again, if there is any question, please stop me. Let's start with the first one. We'll try to talk about yoga. Now, ancient Indian and Greek philosophy, they are very, very ancient philosophies. You can call it maybe 10,000 years old or many, many years old. Pythagoras was also very, very old at that time, although he's known for mathematics, Pythagoras' theorem, but he was mainly a philosopher. Then you talk about Socrates. Similarly, in India also, this philosophy was known long, long before. And Socrates was the one who really said that if you want everlasting happiness, know thyself. So our journey is really trying to know who we are. It's not a knowledge which comes in the mind. It's a knowledge which really means that be yourself. Knowing yourself is really being yourself. You cannot know the self. If you start knowing the self, then self will become known and you will be the knower of that known. So you can't be a knower in that sense. You are the one who will be that self. This is what the condition is. It's difficult to explain at this stage, but at some stage you will start understanding what is the meaning of being the self. So this is what he says, know thyself means discover from inside and be thyself. One who is self-realized is known as liberated or enlightened, and I said some words about it already. A liberated individual is free from all worries, free from anger, free from fears, from inadequacy, and is eternally happy. This is a free person, by the way. This is what it really means, that has no worry, no anger, none of those things. And when you don't have these things, anger, fear, inadequacy, then we say that you have got a purified mind. You are a pure mind or pure soul, you call it. Okay, let's talk about the so-called a two-stage integrated journey, which you call as yoga to enlightenment. The journey that leads to eternal happiness is very much described in details in one of the ancient philosophical texts known as Bhagavad Gita. This has come from India, and by the way, it is not a Hindu text, although Hindus who call that religious people may consider it's a religious text, but it is not a religious text at all. It's a completely philosophical text. And this is what you call as it tells you how to live life. Now one should understand the meaning of living. Meaning of living is that you have to evolve. That is the meaning of living. And it tells you how to evolve internally. Most of us really know how to evolve externally. For external involvement, you have to get 1 degree, then get MBA, then do something else, start your business, That is known as external evolution. But external evolution does not bring the everlasting happiness. So this one really tells you how to evolve internally. And our focus should be really this internal evolvement. And let the external evolvement happen by itself. And I can assure you it will happen by itself, provided you try to evolve internally. So this is what it calls the book of life. And it presents two stages of integrated yoga. Integrated means that there are two stages that are kind of interlocked. You can't say, I'll first finish one stage, then I'll start the next stage. You have to really work on both these stages together. Like if you are in high school, you start taking some advanced college courses at the same time. So this is what it really means. That both this thing, that you start the first stage and start doing the second stage also at the same time. As you keep on progressing in the first stage, you also start progressing in the second stage. And tells us how to harness our physical and mental powers. By the way, we have got only two powers. One is the physical power. You can move things with your body and all that. You can give a speech. That is also a part of physical power. And the mental power really means the power to think, power to make decision, power to cognize, power to infer, power to conceive. Those are the mental powers. These are the only two powers we have got. And this one really tells you how to really harness both the powers. Now some people will say you have got some third power, some miracles and all that. According to philosophy, there are no miracles. Anything which you are doing with your mental and physical power, that itself is miracle. Like a bird flies in the air is a miracle. You don't need any other miracle. And you cannot violate the physical laws of the universe, by the way. Those are cosmic laws. You can say those are God's laws. Somebody says, I can really produce a thing from thin air. No, you cannot produce it. You will have to have some material to produce that one. Now a magician can really create all those tricks. But there is no trick involved in this one. Everything has to be done with whatever physical power you have got and whatever mental power you have got. So all miracles have to be performed with that itself. So there is no such thing as real miracle. And both these you have to do sequentially in these two stages as well as concurrently to achieve the ultimate bliss. Okay. Let me show you what it takes. The first stage of preparation, which you call as preparatory stage, is known as KarmaYoga or yoga of action. It tells you how to really take proper action with proper attitude. The second stage, the final stage, which I am calling as final stage, leads to self-knowledge, is known as Jnana Yoga. Jnana really means knowledge, or yoga of knowledge. And these, as I said, are interconnected, that's why they are overlapping. And this one really is primarily mental effort. It does not require many physical effort. The only kind of physical effort you require is that you should be able to travel to a place where somebody can teach you. Or come to this particular place, that you drive a car and reach this place. Otherwise, it is entirely mental effort. While in the case of KarmaYoga, the first stage, you have a physical as well as mental effort both. Now, what does the first one do? First one removes some big obstacles, like purifying the mind. And what is the purification of mind? Means getting rid of what you call as the binding desires, getting rid of anger, getting rid of greed, getting rid of delusion, getting rid of jealousy. All those kind of things are impurities of the mind. These are tendencies built in a person. A person gets angry with a small thing. Why does a person get angry? There is no reason. There is no logic. But one gets angry because there is impurity present in the mind. And that impurity is in the form of impression, something which really bothers the mind. You call it a tendency or you call it proclivity. That same thing is the one which is existing inside the mind, and this KarmaYoga really removes it. Or you can say it neutralizes it. Removing is a little bit stronger word. It neutralizes it. Like toxins are neutralized during the deep sleep. When you are sleeping, at that time there are toxins which are built in the body during the day, those are neutralized. Sleep, that daytimes are very poisonous, they are very toxic, because too many things happen during the day. And at night when you go to deep sleep, at that time those toxins are dissolved. Similarly, this karma yoga, the art and science of karma really dissolves or neutralizes those tendencies which are built in the mind. And Jnana Yoga, what it does is, after that it removes some finer obstacles. There are certain misconceptions which are built in the mind. After the mind has become very, very calm, very peaceful, then you can start looking into the finer obstacles. As an example, a finer obstacle is that I think I am the body. One has to understand, no, I cannot be the body. Why can't I be the body? The reason is because I know about the body. If I know about anything, I cannot be that. If I know about my car, I cannot be car. Because knower and known cannot be the same. If I know about my house, I cannot be a house. Because house is known and I am the knower of the house. If then I look at my body, then I say I am that body. No, I cannot be the body. I know about my body. It's thick, thin, I know about the body. So I am the knower of the body. Then also I start really looking at it that I am also knower of my mind. If I get agitated, I can really know that I am getting agitated. I am also the knower of my intellect. I know that I can think. I know I can make decisions, which are the elements of intellect. So this is where the final obstacles have to be removed. And it's not easy to remove those, but it requires tremendous amount of practice. After we are done with this karma yoga, maybe in two sittings you can say, then sometime within a year or so I'll start talking about that jnana yoga and tell you how to remove that obstacle, how to start feeling that I am not the body, I am not the mind. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is possible to really have that transition provided your mind is extremely calm and peaceful. If it has got agitation, if it has got desires, anytime you have a desire, it means you lack something. Otherwise, why would you have desire? A person has a desire because person says, oh, I lack something. I desire to have hair. Why do you want hair? It's more comfortable not to have hair. Still a person says, I want hair, Because a person thinks, I lack something. Other people have got hair, Manny has got hair, and I don't have hair. So I'm saying this is what the problem starts coming. Why not really start thinking over, analyzing it? And that is what you do in the Jnana Yoga. You start making that analysis. And you start finding that it doesn't make any sense to have that desire. We will talk quite a bit about desire in this one, by the way, in the science of karma. And ultimately leads to what you call as inner wisdom. That you start understanding it so clearly that you start becoming happy without a reason. You are happy with whatever you have. In fact, you have got everything which you want. You don't need anything more. At least I don't need it. Somebody said it. So we go on from here. Okay. Now how it transforms us. Very quickly, just to give you some idea beforehand so that you feel good at what it will do for you. The unique attitude in performing action makes action as yoga. Otherwise you call it only karma. I'll explain the meaning of karma in detail. It creates a major inner transformation when you really change the attitude or the thought behind your action. So mainly you have to watch the thought behind your action. Okay, it neutralizes what you call attachments and aversions. Attachment is something which you have and you want to keep it near you. You just don't want to leave it. That is what is attachment. Aversion is something which is present but you want to keep it away from you. If you don't like somebody, you have aversion for that person, you don't want to meet that individual. If you like somebody, you want that person to be near you all the time. That is what is attachment. And attachment does not have to be for a person. Attachment can be to an object also. You can be attached to your car, you can be attached to your sofa, you can be attached to many of the things. There are people who are attached to their stick even. They say, I want this only because one is attached to it. So this one, what it does is it neutralizes attachments. Attachment is actually a dependency. That is, I am dependent on it. If it is not there, I am unhappy. A person is attached to their child, for example. Somebody is attached to the sun. And if the son is disobedient, that person becomes unhappy because of attachment. Why should he become unhappy due to disobedience of the child? What has it got to do with the happiness? Child is disobedient, do something about it, take some action, but don't become unhappy. But a person becomes unhappy because my child is disobedient. No reason at all. If you think carefully, it is no reason at all. It argues, it frees you from bondage. This is what bondage is, that you become unhappy because of attachment. It eliminates mental agitation. When you start really practicing this one, that mental agitation is gone. It means it goes in both ways. You don't get excited also. Excitement is mental agitation, by the way. If your team wins, sons win, you get very excited about it. That is mental agitation. So far you have mental agitation, you cannot understand this karma yoga. So you will be calm, you will be watching a game and enjoying the game, looking at some nice place, whether it is by sons or by opponents. You will not be taking any side. Then you can truly enjoy the game. Otherwise, part of the time you will enjoy, and if you find your team is losing, you will turn off your TV. That's what you will do. So that should not be the case. Just enjoy the game. So it eliminates that mental agitation. Then it expands the sphere of consciousness from local consciousness to what you call as cosmic consciousness. That you start becoming inclusive of everyone around you. A person starts with me and my family syndrome, which is known as local consciousness. Actually, a person starts with me alone. Then they try to slightly expand and go to me and my family. When you say me alone, it means selfishness. And when you go to me and my family, it means refined selfishness. So you have to start going beyond it. Start going to your neighbor. Start going to your community. Start going to society. Start going to people of different races, people of different colors, people of different types. Start really considering them similar to your own self. And a stage comes when all beings are in you. All beings are not different from you. That is the stage you call is a cosmic consciousness. You look at a sinner or you look at a saint, you really, both of them are accommodated by you. You accept both of them. You will talk to both of them. You will not hate any one of those. That is the condition of cosmic consciousness. Cosmic consciousness is also known as God consciousness or godly consciousness. So this is what it will take you, just finishing this first stage itself. The second stage, which you start doing concurrently, will take you to the ultimate happiness without reason. Finally, the yoga of knowledge, which you call as jnana yoga, leads to what you call as actionlessness. Actionlessness does not mean action is not happening. Action will keep on happening, but you will not feel that you are the doer of that action. Action is happening. For example, it so happened the hair grow. You don't say, I am growing the hair. Hair just grow. But when you shave, you say, I am shaving. Why do you think you are shaving? Why don't you say that shaving is happening? In fact, it is actually happening. If you want to practice it, it's not very difficult. Just watch your hand and the shaver, it will keep on shaving. Your hand has been trained, it has been programmed to shave. So it will shave. Similarly, a person is combing the hair. Just watch the hair being combed. You are not combing the hair. Their hair are being combed. So this is a stage which one has to reach, which is known as actionlessness. When you reach the stage of actionlessness, you will also reach the stage of eternal happiness. You can start doing something like I do this thing. While brushing, I watch the hand brushing it. Shaving, I watch the hand shaving it. It's very well programmed. It will not make a mistake. There's a memory in the hand, it knows how to do it. Similarly, combing, memory is there in the hand, which will do it. So this is the stage which one has to reach. It's quite an uphill task. It's not a simple thing. So but you have to climb this uphill task. It's a ladder, ladder to the top. But you can do it. Why you can do it? Because there are individuals who have done it before. We normally call them prophets. We call them saints. And there are those saints who will accommodate sinner and saints who don't get perturbed with any situation, and who have got cosmic consciousness. Okay? Today our focus is yoga of action, and it requires clear understanding of two elements. One is the science of karma, and other is the art of karma. And we'll start with science. We'll see how much we can cover. I would really like to cover the science part today, because it's a very important part. And then we can go ahead with the art of karma maybe next couple of months or so. Because first one should absorb the science. Key topic under science of karma, which we are going to talk about, is first we'll talk about the law of causation, which we call as cause and effect. Because anything which we know today, it's an effect of some cause. Something is there, it has to have some cause behind it. That cause may be effect of some other cause, and so on, you know. It keeps on going. It's also known as law of karma. And without cause, there cannot be an effect. Then we'll understand the deeper meaning of this multifaceted word known as karma. It's not simple meaning is action, but there's a deeper meaning. Because we say our destiny, when we talk about destiny, we say this is my karma. There you are not taking action. It really means I am getting the result of that action, or I have got the potential result of that action. Whenever you take an action, the result is already contained in that action, in a potential form. It has not come to fruition. For example, you plant a seed in the ground, start watering it. You start really trying to produce, let's say, orange tree. Already that one is contained in that seed itself. The action which you have taken and the seed which you have planted, already there is orange in it. You have not seen the orange as yet. It may come after 2 years, it may come after 10 years. And there are some plants which may really come to fruition after 40 years. So this is what it's really trying to say, that we have to understand what is the meaning of karma. That is, it is an action, it is a potential result, and it's the final result. Everything is karma. And destiny is also karma. Then how do desires bind us and create mental prison? All these desires, I'm talking about which are binding desires. I'll talk about the one, there are some desires which are non-binding. Non-binding desires are those